Welcome back to more League news, the best format in Summoner's Rift. The new patch has been out for a few days now, and there's a lot of interesting things to talk about. So without further ado, let's start with the champion of the patch. And here we have to talk about Skarner. This Scorpion is dominating the Rift right now, but how did it come to this? Partly a reason for that is definitely that people figured out the best ways to play him and which items to go for, but an even bigger impact had the changes on the recent patch. So the patch before that, people played Skarner top with W max and used Comet and Scourge, which made him a really good and annoying poke champion since it was super easy to land. So this patch, Riot decided to nerf his W, but hard buff his Q. This skyrocketed his win rate and therefore resulting into a higher ban rate also. His damage output was insane and it all scales with health, so you basically become an unkillable DPS machine. It's like old Cassandra all over again. Skarner was so strong, they had to do a hotfix to nerf him, which was focused on reducing a lot of his damage on his Q, W and passive. While this definitely made him weaker, trust me, he still is one of the, if not the best, champions of this patch right now. So if you see him unbanned, maybe think about picking him that game and enjoy the free LP. Let's get into the ban of the patch. And here we can talk about Draven. Oh sorry, not Draven. Draven. He was always a popular ban option because people just hate playing versus Draven. This patch, Riot buffed Draven slightly and oh god did people hate it. For such a small buff, his ban rate increased drastically. Funny enough, the higher elo you are, the higher his ban rate is, which goes up to even 45% in Masters Plus. But this makes total sense. Draven has always been a high risk, high reward pick due to his passive, so if a better player is playing him, he gets a lot scarier. Once ahead, he just straight up one-shots everyone and it's super hard for the enemy team to get back into the game again. Something that he also benefited from a lot were the buffs to ADC items and especially his all-time favorite, Infinity Edge. Draven crits just hit different, so having more critical strike damage and also having more base damage on his Q now, it just all scales to big numbers and therefore people love banning him. Next up we have the winner of the patch and that is Jhin. Jhin has always been an ADC with a high pick rate. For obvious reasons, since he is one of the most fun and satisfying ADCs to play. While he did receive buffs, these were fortunately only on the smaller side. Riot wanted to give more force into his kit and also nice. The Q buff mostly benefits more skilled players, so it will increase his skill expression, but the movement speed buff will in general make him a lot better. And do not underestimate this. This is more movement speed on a champion that was already fast and is now even faster. Jhin players usually go Fleet, build Storm Racer first and also go for Ghost as a summoner spell, and all of these give movement speed. So good luck catching this guy. These buffs sure increased his win rate, making him a lot better and a really good pick to play in the current patch. So, all you Jhin enjoyers, now is your time. So let's see who the loser of the patch is. And here we can definitely talk about Azir. Poor Emperor of Shurima, not able to tell the people what he has seen today. Ever since Azir soldiers were proccing on-hit effects again, people started using fleet footwork and grasp for runes, and Riot did not respond kindly to that. They destroyed his health regeneration for his laning phase, and this alone makes him so much worse in the laning phase. There was also a slight decrease in his soldier damage, but this didn't hit as hard as the other nerf. Azir has always been a very safe laner with his high range, while having an incredible late game with a lot of playmaking potential. So these changes were made to make him more punishable during the laning phase, which is completely understandable. I personally think it's okay for certain champions like Azir to have a win rate lower than average, since he is super annoying to play against. But out of all champions this patch that received nerfs, he definitely got hit the hardest. With that, let's talk about some PBE changes. And here we have something really interesting. Riot is gonna change radius sizes of certain champions. They said they wanna have more consistency, and some radius sizes were weird for certain champions. For example, we have gameplay radius increases for champions like Aurelion Sol, Briar, Cassandra, Naafiri and Warwick, which means their hitbox is increased, while for Darius and Yuumi they are gonna decrease slightly. Then there is also a selection radius increase and decrease for certain champions, which means how easy it is to click on you. I really like this idea to make hitboxes more logical depending on your champion, so I really hope they're not gonna pull back these changes. And that's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this. Have a wonderful rest of the day and good luck on the Rift.